Welcome to Guide to Survive. The world is a big, beautiful place, full of incredible and breathtaking sights and experiences. It's also doing everything it can to kill you, and so that's where this program fits in. Before you venture into the great outdoors, you need to learn about all of the terrifying and mystical creatures that lurk in the woods, knock on your window, and hide in your toilet. With this guide, you'll learn how to identify a would-be assailant, analyze its strengths and weaknesses, and deal with it effectively. By the end of your training, you'll be ready to take on any creep or cryptid that crosses your path. So here's to you, and the great adventure that lies ahead. Let's begin.
Target analysis. Name: Gumberoo. Class: Cryptid, rare and unusual mammal. Habitat: hollow cedar trees, woodlands, North America. Lifespan: unknown. Strengths: impenetrable skin, superior strength, speed, and senses. Weaknesses: fire, heavy sleepers, and poor coordination. Overall threat level: 8. Behavior: Gumberoo, a name as strange as the creature it belongs to. These beasts have a close resemblance to that of black bears. However, they are almost entirely hairless, aside from some tufts for eyebrows and small bristly beards upon their lower jaws. They are also significantly rounder in body, as though they have been inflated, and are carried on short, powerful legs, which are able to rush along at surprisingly quick speeds. However, being so oddly proportioned has meant that despite of their superior strength and speed, they are unable to make sudden alternating movements without tumbling over themselves. This clumsiness, however, does not detract from the danger these creatures pose, as it is undeniable that a Gumberoo is by far one of the most threatening predators on land to date. I really have to credit those lumberjacks. They do great field research for me. Shame we lose so many to random and hilarious cryptid attacks. But that's why we have the cloning vats. These were a really great investment. I save so much on lumberjacks now. In addition to possessing higher levels of strength, speed, and acute senses, the skin of the Gumberoo is nigh impenetrable, able to deflect bullets, melee weaponry, as well as the teeth and claws of other predators. Surviving a one-on-one confrontation with one of these unusual animals is almost certain death. How exactly the skin of the Gumberoo provides such an incredible defense seems to come down to its elasticity. The flexibleness is apparently not only able to deflect oncoming attacks, but also able to stretch to allow for the vast consumption of food the Gumberoo will ingest, without causing any distress to the creature, enabling it to continue its search for food unabated. However, this great advantage is also the greatest weakness, as the skin is also highly flammable, and will cause the critter to explode upon any contact with fire. It has been speculated that there may be a low viscosity chemical, such as lotion, naturally produced by these animals, that enables the strange elasticity of the skin, but also leaves it highly combustible. Further examinations will need to be conducted in order to verify these theories. Curiously, these beings will spend most of the year in hibernation, and are only active for a few intervals. Found across North America, they will make their dens in hollowed-out cedar trees. The Gumberoos are incredibly heavy sleepers, so much so that they will not awake to escape forest fires, even as their dens are engulfed in flames, at which point the Gumberoo promptly explodes. This is the most trusted reasoning for why such hardy and formidable creatures are so incredibly rare. When awake, they are possessed by an unyielding hunger. This constant need to feed will drive them to devour every living creature in sight. A Gumberoo is said to be able to eat an entire horse in one sitting and will still be hungry, throwing portion control right out of the window. When locating food, a Gumberoo will pursue it until it is caught. A potential meal can possibly escape this fate by running close enough to a slower creature. This will more often than not cause the Gumberoo to change targets and eat the slower creature. It is important to note that whether day or night, these beasts will hunt and eat until it is time to hibernate again. Oddly enough, that such hungry beasts would not make their way to rural or even urban areas, where an abundance of food is waiting for them. Perhaps it is a preference towards quieter, more natural environments. Perhaps it is a natural defense instinct, despite of their incredible hardiness. Whatever the reason, a Gumberoo will remain in dense forests and not venture out from its solitude. To surmise, the simple yet unusual nature of the Gumberoo makes it a truly noble and fascinating cryptid. Delightfully rotund, yet terrifyingly savage. When not sleeping most of the years away, these creatures are hunting, looking for that next meal to satiate its unending hunger. Near invulnerable, they are apex predators. But, should you find yourself in the North American wilderness, be wary. If bears and mountain lions aren't enough to remind you of your place in the food chain, to a Gumberoo, everything is just meat. Stratagem. So, here's the scenario. Jar 19 requires black bear DNA. You don't need to know why. As such, you find yourself exploring the North American wilderness, armed only with your wits, bear pheromones, and a large syringe. During your travels, you see it. A Gumberoo, bumbling about and searching for food. Suddenly, it gets a whiff of you, and drawn in by your scent, it begins to chase you. Your plan of attack. Firstly, dodgy fellow. If you're confident in your own speed, then try to outrun the Gumberoo. Take advantage of its large, awkward form, and regularly perform sudden turns in order to throw it off balance, giving you time to escape. Secondly, firepower. Hopefully, you either have some flammable substance on you, or you can locate one whilst fleeing for your life. Utilize the flames, ensure they make contact with the Gumberoo, then duck and cover as it explodes, hurtling everything it's eaten recently across the immediate vicinity. Just like Mr. Creosote. Thirdly, meal options. Good news! You're in a forest, and that means an abundance of wildlife, and more importantly, perfect scapegoats. During your courageous retreat, attempt to find any wildlife that will distract the pursuing Gumberoo long enough for you to get away. That's nature, baby. Fourthly, choking hazard. This one is only to be considered a last resort, in that all other options are no longer viable, and I have absolutely no idea as to whether it will actually work. When the Gumberoo is running towards you, mouth agape, run, jump, and tuck into a ball, aiming directly into its throat. Then, when comfortably lodged within the creature's maw, expand yourself in order to stifle its breathing. Remember, it is trying to eat you, so only one of you is walking away from this. Fifthly, lovely work. If you manage to collect any of its DNA, bring it back to the lab. And I still want that bear DNA, so back to work. Pop quiz! Question number 1. Is it true that Gumberoos will spend most of the year hunting for food? Answer: no. Gumberoos will spend most of the year in hibernation. Question number 2. Do Gumberoos possess a near invulnerable body structure? Answer: yes. Gumberoos are invulnerable to a wide range of traditionally lethal attacks, such as firearms, and are only truly vulnerable to fire, which causes them to explode. Question number 3. Will Gumberoos avoid certain creatures as a food source? Answer: no. Gumberoos will consume any living creature they find. Question number 4. Are Gumberoos in a permanent state of hunger? Answer: yes. When awake, Gumberoos are constantly hungry and will set about finding anything they would consider food. Question number 5. Can Gumberoos be found in rural and urban environments? Answer: no. Gumberoos will only make their habitats in the hollowed out cedar trees of dense woodlands. If you scored 0 to 1, then a Gumberoo has eaten you. If you scored 2 to 3, then you might be alive, but you'll never trust a bear ever again, and it's weird that you did before. And if you scored 4 to 5, tremendous work. The lumberjacks would be proud. Conclusion. Excellent work. I'd say you're ready to get out there and face whatever challenges plot against you. And if you're not, then don't worry. You can re-watch these guides to survive as much as you like. And they're non-refundable. I'm very proud of the progress you've made, and I know you're going to take the future in your stride. I've got a good feeling about you, Jake the dog. I think it works. Stretchy, eats a lot, lives in a tree. What do you think? Good luck, and don't die!